Good morning to all you awesome people. I welcome you all on our YouTube channel JPSC Simplified. Let's crack JPSC. So, my dear friends, in today's lecture, we will delve deep into the Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act of 1949. In the last lecture, we have seen a brief overview of this act, and in today's lecture, we will see the sections and the clauses under this act. So, let's begin. Section number 1. It explains about the brief name, start and extension of this act. Under this section, there are four clauses. Okay, so in clause 1, SPT Act of 1949, that is, here name of the act is given, which is SPT Act of 1949, on which date it came into force. So by notification, it came into force on 1st November 1949. So in the examination, a question may be asked to you that on which date SPT Act of 1949 came into force. So you must remember that it is on 1st November. Okay. Now, the third point in this clause is the extension of this act. So SPT Act, it extends to the districts of Santhal Pargana, which includes the district of Dumka, Sahebganj, Godda, Jamtada, Pakur, Deoghar. Okay, so these six districts, they come under the Santhal Pargana region, and these six districts are covered by this Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act of 1949. Okay, so this was all about clause 1. Now clause 2, it says that power to vary local extent of the act and effect of withdrawal of the act from any area lies with the state government. So under whom the power to vary and power of withdrawal of this act lies? So it lies with the state government. This is mentioned in clause number 2. Okay. Now clause number 3, it tells about the cancellation. Cancellation means in which regions or in which scenarios the provision of this act can be cancelled. This is given in clause number 3. And in clause number 4, there are some definitions that you should remember, or if you don't remember, you should understand. A question may be asked to you in the examination, like what is agriculture year mentioned under Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act, and they will give you 3-4 options. And if you have read this clause number 4, you have understood what is mentioned in SPT Act for agriculture year, easily you will be able to answer these questions. Okay, so let's see the definitions which are given in clause number 4 under Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act. So the first definition is given is that of aboriginals. So aboriginals are the person who belongs to an aboriginal or semi-aboriginal tribe or caste specified in Schedule B, and includes a person belonging to such other aboriginal or semi-aboriginal tribe or caste as may from time to time be notified by the state government. So who are the aboriginals? So aboriginals are the tribes. They are specified in Schedule B, or they are notified by the state government. Okay. Now the second definition is of agricultural year. What? Agricultural year. Say here. Agricultural year. So agricultural year under Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act, if it is a Bengali year, then it begins from first day of Vesak, and for other purpose, it begins from the first day of Aswin. So you should remember that if it is a Bengali year, then we consider this agriculture year to start from first day of Vesak, and in other case generally we assume it to start from first day of Aswin. So this thing you should remember. Okay. Now the next definition is of Bhugut Bandh or complete structurary mortgage. So what is this Bhugut Bandh or complete structurary mortgage? So transfer of the interest of Rayyat in his holding or part of the holding for the purpose of securing money advanced or to be advanced by way of loan. So basically what Bhugut Bandhak or complete structurary mortgage, it means what is Bhugut Bandhak? Bhugut Bandhak is someone who keeps his land in mortgage in lieu of money from other person. He is known as Bhugut Bandhak, and the land which he keeps in mortgage with other person, he cannot, till the time he repays the loan, he will not be able to take the benefit from that land. Okay, so that is he is taking loan from some person and he is keeping his land as a mortgage with that person. So the person who keeps his land as a mortgage, that person is known as Bhugut Bandhak. So this was all about Bhugut Bandhak. Now the next definition is of Khas village. What is a Khas village? A village in which there is no Mool Rayyat nor for the time being any village headman. That is, Khas village is a village which don't have a Mool Rayyat. Also it doesn't have a village headman. That village is known as Khas village. Okay. Now the other definition that is given in this clause is of landlord. So who is a landlord? A person other than the village headman or Mool Rayyat entitled to receive rent, which includes a proprietor, a tenure holder, a ghatwal, or the government. So very important, who is known as a landlord under this act? So a person other than the village headman or Mool Rayyat entitled to receive rent, which includes a proprietor, a tenure holder, a ghatwal, and the government. Okay. Now we will see Rayyat. Okay, so the next thing which is given in this clause is the definition of Rayyat. So who are Rayyats? Person not being a landlord who has acquired a right to hold for the purpose of cultivating it by himself or by members of his family or by hired servants. Okay, so who is a Rayyat? Someone who has taken the land from the landowner for the purpose of agriculture. He is known as a Rayyat. So I think you got what is Rayyat, what is landlord, okay, difference between them. Now, the other definitions that are given in this act are of commissioner, that of landlord. We have seen the definition of landlord here, non-aboriginals, semi-aboriginals, and many other definitions. But these definitions are very important from the examination point of view. That is, definition of Rayyat, definition of landlord, definition of agriculture year, definition of Bhugut Bandhak, definition of Khas village. Okay. Now we will see the section number 2. So that was all about section number 1. So in section number 1, what we saw that in clause number 1, there was brief name, start and extension of the act. In clause number 2, power of withdrawal of this act lies with the state government. In clause number 3, cancellation, and in clause number 4 we saw some important definitions. Now we will go to in section number 2, we will see about the village headman and the Mool Rayyats. So here clauses which are included are from clause number 5 to clause number 11. Okay, clause number 5 to clause number 11 are included in section 2. So in clause number 5, appointment of a village headman of a khas village. So appointment of a village headman of a khas village, this provision is given under clause number 5. Now in clause number 4 in the definition, we saw what is a khas village. A khas village is that village which does not have mool rayyat as well as a village headman. So in clause number 5, the provision for appointment of a village headman of a khas village is given. And who appoints the village headman of a khas village? So the village headman of a khas village is appointed by deputy commissioner with consent of two-thirds of Jamabandi Rayyats. So I think you got this. Okay. Now we will come to clause number 6. In clause number 6, landlord to report death of village headman. Okay, in clause number 6, it is given that landlord to report the death of village headman. If a village headman of non-khas village dies, landlord will report death to deputy commissioner within 3 months, and he will appoint a new headman. Okay, so this provision is given under clause number 6. In clause number 7, village headman to be granted patta and to execute kabuliyat and furnish security. Okay, so this provision is given in clause number 7. What is given in clause number 8? So clause number 8 says landlord to supply copies of Jamabandi and record of rights to the newly appointed village headman. This provision is given in clause number 8. Okay. Now, in clause number 9, it is given about non-transferability of village headman office. Okay. So it may ask you in a question, or a question may be asked to you in the examination, that whether the post of village headman under Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act is transferable. So the answer would be no, this post is non-transferable, and it is given in clause number 9. Now we will come to clause number 10. So what does clause number 10 says? Clause number 10 says only land recorded as such to be treated as Mool Rayyat Ka Jot and Mool Rayyat Jot. That is, no unrecorded or wasteland will be treated as private land. Very, very important. Under Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act, there is a provision under clause number 10 that no unrecorded land or wasteland will be treated as a private land. Okay, now we will come to clause number 11. Under clause number 11, the provision of headman's reward fund is given. So what is a headman's reward fund? Let's see. All fines imposed upon and realized from village to be deposited in this fund. Management of and disbursement from this fund shall be made by the deputy commissioner in accordance with the prescribed rules. So what is headman's reward fund? That is, all the fines imposed upon and realized from the village, it will be deposited in this fund, and this fund will be managed, and the disbursement from this fund will be monitored by whom? Deputy commissioner. It will be made and monitored by deputy commissioner. So this was all about headman's reward fund. Okay, so here we come to the end of section 1 and section 2 of Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act. Okay, so this was all about SPT Act in today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will see the other sections under this act. So till then, read, revise and enjoy. Thank you.